Hey guys, introspection here. So I decided to make a video on a topic rather popular amongst current generations. Media that is social, or more commonly known as social media. Now, chances are that most of us have used social media to a fairly large extent on either our computer or more likely our cell phones. Now, if you're gonna tell me that you've never ever used social media before, then you're lying. You're lying right now. Because if you're viewing this video, then, well, you're using social media right now. Now, chances are if you've used social media for any significant amount of time, which again, if you're watching this video, chances are you have, then you've noticed the large amount of sheer negative and hate content there is on the internet. And this kind of content generally tires us out and keeps us away from social media. Now, these kinds of posts and content really get posted when people rely on just sheer negative emotions and leave thought and logic out of it. And I'm not talking about the posts that people largely disagree with, like pro-life posts. I'm talking about the posts that just have sheer anger and hatred and lack logic and thought. And when people post things with relying on their negative emotions, generally speaking, they sound like whining babies. And not to be offensive, but that's really what they do sound like. And when you sound like that, chances are you're really not going to convince anybody of your argument. You're not really going to draw people in to listen to what you're saying, because all you're doing is whining, and most of us don't really enjoy listening to that. What you will succeed in doing, perhaps, is getting somebody else who's whining about the same thing to whine with you. And honestly, what good does that do you? You're not communicating ideas to others. You're not giving knowledge that somebody previously didn't have to somebody else. You're not transmitting any sort of meaning through anything you're posting. You're just succeeding in getting somebody who is whining about the same thing you are to whine with you, which really accomplishes nothing. And it really shouldn't be that way, because social media can be a means for us to communicate our thoughts and ideas, and even have discussions about things that most of us would disagree with across several states, provinces, even countries to some extent, depending on how many languages you know. Point being that is what we can use social media for. And I think because of these negative posts, social media has gotten this bad reputation of being bad, which in reality, you really can't have an object be bad. It's people who are posting the things on social media that are making it so. Now, before you guys yell out the whole, "We have free speech, I know my rights. I mean, I've never read the first 10 amendments, but I know free speech is in there somewhere." Well, guys, I'm not arguing that by any means it should be illegal for you guys to make these kind of posts. I'm a strong advocator in free speech and are well aware that such restrictions would restrict others' free speech that would actually be meaningful. But guys, we have a right to free speech. I agree with you there. But we also have an obligation to make it meaningful speech. And if you don't do that, then generally you end up wasting your speech. And on top of that, you start to build a solid argument for others who want to shut down free speech. And frankly, when you don't make your speech meaningful, then trying to get people to listen to you is going to be impossible, because nobody's going to listen to you when you're not putting thought into your free speech, whether it's on social media or in the real world. Either way, you have an obligation to make something out of the free speech. Now, what can we do about this media problem? Well, first, we can put some thought into what posts we put, and then second, we can listen to other thoughtful posts, even if we disagree with them. Because here's the way I look at it. Even if even if every single person that's currently posting negative content continues to post negative content, social media can only be made better by us posting positive content on social media. So go ahead. Essentially, kind of what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to put as much good content, thoughtful content, positive emotion led content on to all platforms of social media. Well, maybe not all of them, but a lot of platforms of social media, as well as trying to translate ideas, thought, and logic into social media. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any ideas as to how I could improve, or have any arguments as to anything in the video, go ahead and leave it in the comments. And otherwise, go ahead and subscribe and hit that bell so you can catch my video in the next 2 weeks. If you want to follow me on Facebook or Instagram, the links are down in the description. Until I see you guys next, hear nothing and listen to all. Bye, guys.